Hey guys, I was asked to help raise awareness about the case of a man named Calvin Berry. This is a pretty detailed cold case, and I worked with Calvin's amazing sister, Dornette Mullings, to get it together. So here we go. Calvin went missing in March of 2021. He was last seen alive on Wednesday, March 11th around 12:30 a.m. at his home in Port St. Lucie, Florida, as reported by his wife. As reported by WPBF 25 News, his wife Althea said a search dog tracked his scent to the corner of their street, and a neighbor's surveillance camera saw a white SUV coming down the street at 12:12 a.m. with no headlights on. But when it reached Calvin's house, they slowed down and turned their lights on and quickly drove away. Around 1:30 p.m. on Saturday, March 13th, Calvin was found deceased. Calvin's body was found floating in the canal directly behind his home. Police initially said that there was no evidence to suggest foul play. His death was ruled an accident caused by drowning, complicated by diphenhydramine use. Diphenhydramine is an active ingredient in a lot of allergy medications, such as Benadryl. The 58-year-old Port St. Lucie, Florida resident was a beloved member of his community. This is him bumping fists with Congressman Brian Mast. He served as a deacon at the Treasure Coast Church of God and was a mail carrier for almost 30 years. As reported by WPTV News, business owners and community members lined the streets as post office delivery workers held a procession, escorted by officers to honor his life. Many described him as being like family and stated that his life was marked by kindness. But not everyone believed that Calvin's death was an accident. Calvin's twin sister, Dornette Mullings, pictured here with Calvin and their mom when they were babies, believes his death to be a homicide and has relentlessly championed for him to get justice. Dornette started a petition to demand justice for Calvin by asking the Port St. Lucie police to reopen the investigation into his death, and says there are many red flags that cannot be ignored. For example, why would Calvin go to the canal in the middle of the night? The deepest section of the canal is in the middle, and it's only 4.5 feet deep. If he'd slipped and fallen on the banks of the canal, he could have easily gotten up and walked out. There's no indication from canines that he ever entered behind his house toward the area of the canal. Why did the 2 police drone flights end with negative results when they searched? Why did the white SUV suddenly turn its lights on in front of the house at 12:12 a.m. and quickly speed off? Why did Calvin have an elevated quantity of Benadryl in his system? Why did his wife tell the 911 operator about him taking Benadryl in an emergency call to locate him? How did his body end up in the canal directly behind his house on day 3 after canines had already searched the area and didn't indicate his scent? There were many, many more unusual occurrences, but these are just a few. Dornette shared from the police missing persons investigation that Calvin's wife said she never went outside to look for Calvin after discovering him missing. Calvin spent a great deal of time cultivating exotic fruit trees in his garden, and Dornette believes that the garden should have been the first place searched. His wife allegedly stated she, quote, didn't like the bugs and it was too hot outside. But it was midnight in March, so why did she call 911 30 minutes after she said he was missing? And how was it too hot out? Following Calvin's death, his widow quickly sold their home. She also discarded the contents of home on the sidewalk. Check that out. On March 11th of 2022 and this year, Dornette and many other local supporters held a powerful walk for justice along a portion of Calvin's former delivery route. Local media covered their effort. A few supporters who could not join the walk in person were encouraged to walk from wherever they were located. Some walked in support from their home locations in Jamaica, Texas, Indiana, and North Carolina. In October of 2022, Dornette completed a symposium on forensic investigations of hate crimes, stating that her interest in forensic investigations began after her twin brother's death and that her relentless pursuit now lies in uncovering the truth and achieving justice. In November of 2022, Dornette received a cease and desist notice from an attorney representing her brother's widow, demanding that she remove, quote, defamatory statements made on her Justice for Calvin site and Facebook group or face further legal action. Dornette refused to comply because she believes her public information is all factual. Just before Christmas 2022, Dornette announced the proposed Calvin L. Berry bill had just completed its second draft with Florida Minority Leader Senator Lauren Book. The bill calls for the rights to a thorough investigation of all unnatural deaths by extended family members, since no immediate family member who had the right to ask for a thorough investigation in Calvin's case did so. Here's Dornette with Senator Lauren Book. For more than a year, Dornette faced a multitude of frustrations with law enforcement and felt her brother's case was not being taken seriously. Recently, after Dornette hired her own accident consultant and forensic pathologist, Port St. Lucie police decided to re-examine Calvin's case, assigning it to a new team of investigators. On June 1st of this year, Dornette shared an update that she has, quote, renewed hope now that fresh eyes are looking into this mysterious case and that this current investigation will lead us to the truth. I'm impressed with the dedication of this investigative team and thankful that finally we will get answers. Dornette is calling for support from ethical content creators to help raise awareness about Calvin's case. You can reach out to her at Calvin_Justice4 on Twitter and join the Justice for Calvin group on Facebook to support.